Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall.
Here's Johnny. Hey guys. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey guys, it's Saturday. Welcome back to the den. So, just another week in quarantine. Well, not quarantine, lockdown. Yep.
Just another day in paradise.
Yep. So, we said a couple of videos ago that we weren't really going to talk about the whole lockdown quarantine thing just because
But here we are to talk about the quarantine.
I mean, it's kind of inevitable because it's literally affecting everybody's lives. It's affecting everything.
Well, and I think it's also important to talk to in the realm of like mental health and making sure everybody's okay. Like, it takes a toll on your mental health.
Yeah, because the whole thing is all about physical health and making sure that you social distance so that way everybody stays physically healthy. But with everything else going on, it's really hard to stay mentally healthy because you just read stuff and you start overthinking it and dwelling on it.
And you start to feel that sort of sense of like almost despair, for lack of a better term. Like, what if things don't get better? Like, you start to internalize it. It's tricky to keep your mental health.
Well, and the part that I find I'm struggling with is depending on where you're reading the information from, it's either like everything's going good, the curve is flattening, everything's going better than we anticipated. And then the next article I'm reading is saying, well, it looks like we're in for the long haul, a minimum of 18 months.
Well, I think the 18-month thing is kind of I mean, yes, there will have to be action taken for 18 months, but I don't think it's going to be literally locking everyone away in their house for a year and a half.
No, the lockdowns and stuff I doubt would be anywhere near that long. It's obviously ongoing. They've extended them here till May as well. Last Friday, Niagara declared state of emergency, so that's made things a little bit more difficult here. Previously, the grocery stores were just running business as usual with just like tape on the floor, plexiglass up, just to remind people social distancing and all that. And now, because it's been declared a state of emergency, it's like, it's good because that means they're taking the proper precautions that they should have been taken from the get-go. But it's really frustrating because there's a lot of people who are like, yes, they're taking the proper precautions, but this is bullshit because I had to wait in line for half an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so thankful to all of our healthcare workers and postal workers. Why do I have to wait in line at the grocery store? This is bullshit.
Yeah,
no,
and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, we were at Costco yesterday.
Yeah, it took us about an hour, just under an hour.
Honestly, the wait wasn't, it didn't even really feel like an hour. We chatted, we talked, we had a list. We were going down, making sure we had everything itemized so we knew exactly what we were going in for. If we weren't going to get it from there, where we were going to go and get it. So we're trying to be really smart.
Yeah,
and efficient
minimize
when we're out there.
The amount of time that we're spending outside and making sure that if it's a day that we have to leave the house for something, that we are managing those trips into as few trips as possible.
Exactly. And I've always been a flyer shopper, so I always go through the flyers, figure out where the best sales are, do price matching, stuff like that to try and save. And some of the stores are still doing the flyers as business as usual, which is good because then you can actually go and plan. And then other stores are kind of phoning it in and saying, well, our focus is in making sure that everything is set up and proper, so we're not putting anything on sale this week. Like, people are hurting for money. This is when they need.
I don't think it's that they're not putting things on sale. I think it's that they realize that people will pick up an ad, look through it, and put it back down.
Right.
And it's not sanitary for the next person to pick it up and potentially infect themselves.
Right. No, I just mean, like, because you look through the flyers. Well, I do digitally. So just to be extra safe and cautious, I sewed us a couple masks this week. So I know last week I said that I was going to be posting those new graphics for the den, and I got a little sidetracked. So They are still in the process of being worked on, so I'm hoping maybe by next week.
What that means is that I'm going to have to remind him and force him to sit down and finish them.
Just please don't hide Skyrim on me. That's mean.
I will do what I want.
That's mean.
You want to play Skyrim? Fine. Take an arrow to the knee.
So rude. So last week I mentioned that I was really excited about the new Amazon Prime series Tales from the Loop. Earlier this week I was having a really bad anxiety day. My anxiety is generally pretty much in check. Every once in a while, like when I started my new job, I was going in feeling sick to my stomach every day. And then after being there for a little while, it eased up and everything was fine. But my anxiety was really bad earlier this week. And so we started watching that. And the show is so weird, but like in a good way, that it just completely took my mind off of everything. It was a really welcome distraction because we've tried watching Indiana Jones and Back to the Future and all kinds of other stuff, and it's just nothing's really like kind of...
Yeah, it's not keeping you in the moment. It's you put it on and like 10 minutes later you realize that you've been playing with your phone the whole time.
Yeah. So if you're looking for really good, excellent distraction, I would definitely recommend that show. We're only a couple episodes in, but it's weird. It's so weird, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's almost like until you start to put some of the pieces together, it's almost like a fever dream.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole first season is like one episode of The Twilight Zone, but it's all like kind of spread out. And
so you're kind of trying to put the pieces together and figure things out, which I like because it keeps you engaged in the storyline.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that I would definitely recommend. And the other thing I've been doing to try and keep myself busy is I actually planted some peppers. They're in the very early stages, and it was totally one of those like Facebook videos, like take a pepper, cut it in half, plant it. So I didn't actually plant the pepper in half. I literally cored the pepper, broke up the seed pod, sprinkled them in, added the water, left them in the window for a couple days, and that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I want to get a couple more plants and maybe try and be a little bit more self-sufficient, so that way we have vegetables growing. It'd be cool to have like a little window planter or something, so that way we don't have to go to the grocery store for vegetables as often.
Yeah, I mean, just even if it's just in spices and some peppers and some little things that you can grow.
But yeah, that would be fantastic.
It's like the lighting in here is weird as far as when we get sun on what side of the building, and like,
yeah,
so it'll be a little bit great because we're home right now, because we have lots of time to do things that we would not normally have the time to do.
Yeah, so trying to take advantage of that and do those little things. The next thing I want to do is read the Harry Potter books, but Skyrim's been a distraction.
They're all right there on the bookshelf. They're literally just off camera to my left, to your right. There's a bookshelf full of all of the Harry Potter books, all purchased before we discovered that J.K. Rowling was a TERF. She gets no more of my money. I still enjoy the books, but that money was already spent long before she went on her tangent.
So, anything else you want to add this week?
Not really. We'll just keep it kind of short and sweet, and wish everybody out there a happy Easter if they do celebrate said holiday.
Yeah, and if you are celebrating Easter, do it the smart, responsible way. Video conference.
Yeah. I know that Easter and Passover are, by the way, happy Passover to anyone who out there who may celebrate that, family events where there's a get-together, especially if you do a Seder. If you're Jewish and you're doing a Seder for Passover, that's a group activity where everybody gets together, and, you know, your Easter dinners and stuff. I know it's difficult, but now is not the time.
Here's the thing you got to remember. This is one time that you have to sit out a family function, a holiday. There are people out there who have to sit out family functions and holidays every single year. People that don't have families, people that don't have friends, people that have to work through it every year.
People
so
that are
it's kind of
out
humbling.
On the streets, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of humbling. Like, we're just doing something small ourselves, but making sure that we're thinking about all of our loved ones and making sure everybody's safe. And
yeah, I mean, I haven't been home for a few years, but I know that once I am able to travel, because like the borders closed, I couldn't if I wanted to, that they will be happy to see me for Easter. And it's just, we've got to think of the greater picture and the safety of all others, even if we know that we're not sick, even if you've been in quarantine or isolation for 3 weeks and you know that you're not symptomatic and you haven't gone anywhere, it's still not an appropriate time for you to go to a get together, because somebody there could be asymptomatic and then all of a sudden you get it.
Yeah.
So it's time to think of the bigger picture, put things off for a little while. Things will be back to normal. And I know it's hard because it's a holiday and it's traditionally the time that you see your family, but we'll get through this and there will be Easter next year. Who knows? By then, everything could be lifted. There could be a vaccine. We could all be back to normal. So anyway, that was my diatribe.
So, I'm going to continue to take it one day at a time. Try and keep focusing on happy, positive stuff.
Yeah.
And if I come across anything in the meantime, I'll write it down and I'll let you guys know about it next week.
Yep.
So I think that will do it for us this week. We are having a little taste of home for Ken. Some Cincinnati Chili's cooking, so I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
So with that, we will see you guys next week.
Yep.
All right. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all of that fun jazz. And say hi to Suser's J.
She's like, I'm not looking at that camera.
Yeah, she's not having it. She just wants more tuna.
Just say bye.
You gonna say bye? Say bye to everybody. Nope.
Nope.
Bye, guys. Bye.